This is the Levels Network. I am Justin Horo, joined by the Widdamoo, Triple OG, Willie Mason OG. A bit of a different show today before we break down, we would be breaking down, Magic Round. It's going to be a little bit different because we are filming the team list and the breakdown of the games officially tomorrow at Caxton Street.
Oh, mad.
So we will be joining, we will be doing the podcast, and Allana Ferguson will be joining us because we have the Women's State of Origin game tonight. So really looking forward to watching that. And then we've got a few commitments in and around Caxton with our partners.
Be good, man. Be fun.
So really looking forward to it today, mate. So what we'll do today, YouTube replies. The YouTube community and our questions, I think, differentiates us from everyone else. Yeah. We've proper built our community through YouTube, through the questions. From day one. We've always included them, and I love that part of it. So what we'll do is we'll get to some replies from our episodes last week. You know how you had your soundboard? Yeah. I think I got away lightly. Someone said that I've got a couple, so he's given me one as well.
I'm fucking still laughing, man.
Yeah, that was good stuff. And then obviously so much huge, like yesterday's news absolutely blew up. So what we'll do is we'll concentrate on the news of the week so far. Obviously the ones that stand out, Fifita's backflip, the reverse cherry. We're going to call that.
Should be called that, a reverse cherry.
Reverse cherry?
Oh, yeah, I just reverse cherried on you. Don't worry about it.
So the Titans finally are on the right end of it. I want to talk about some other famous ones that never really get mentioned as much as cherries, though.
Yep.
Bennet has denied signing at South, but it's all but done, apparently. Hopefully he doesn't get David Fifita by that. Ricky extends. I want to talk in depth about that too because I think there's some layers to that signing. Yeah. And then also, we'll get to a few more. I just want to tackle this alleged racial abuse of the Rabbitohs players to begin with. It's one of those things, it's like, I hate talking about it and it's disgusting, but if we don't, and we don't continue to
give it awareness, man. Got to do something about it. Bring awareness
to the situation, then I think it'll continue. But let's start with this, mate. This one's from Pat McDaniels, or Pate McDaniels. What's up from Alabama, USA? Love the podcast.
Crimson Tide.
Always a great lesson. Wait, mate. Yeah. I've been a Union fan for most of my life and have fallen in love with rugby league the past 2 seasons. Nothing like staying up at 2 a.m. for some action. Can't wait for Vegas next year. Can we get a roll tide from Big Willie?
Roll Tide.
So
love it.
There he goes. Love your work, boys. Thank you, Pat McDaniels or Pate McDaniels. As well as doing the podcast from Caxton. Mace will be at Stock Exchange from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yes.
The door's open. But if you go upstairs, there's an exclusive...
Bit of info there. So Stock Exchange is one of the prestigious sort of pubs in Brisbane. So obviously people are going up to Magic Round for a good time. Yep. Let's not get it twisted here. So Friday night, depends how hard you go. They're going to be open at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, right? So
what sort of numbers do you reckon? Do you reckon like there's at least 1,000 rolling in straight away?
Well, I don't think it's going to be 1,000. I'm pretty sure there'll be some people just in their apartment still awake and just going, you know what? Stocky's open at 9.
Let's go.
You know, so they're going to go down there. And if you want to go upstairs, $120, it'll cost you $120. You got a mad DJ playing, you got food, you got alcohol, you got everything sorted. Beautiful. Or if you just want to have free entry and you go on the bottom level. So there are levels to everything. So get to that second level. There's going to be a heap of punters. Hos and myself are going to be around. We'll do a little bit of a, like a bit of talk, bit of a panel on there. There's going to be some I'm not going to name any players, but there's going to be some great players just going around in the crowd. So get there, it'll be a good vibe. So from 9 to 1 o'clock, we'll be there.
Beautiful. And if you pay for the exclusive upstairs part, that'll start from 10 a.m.
Yes, 10 a.m. starts.
And if you're looking for any more information on it, make sure you go on the Stock Exchange Instagram page. You'll see a big picture of me and Mace holding up the gloves ready to go. So we are ready to go. Yeah. It's going to be like a fight up there for me.
It'll be crazy, mate.
So, just like I said at the start of the show, we've built our show through our YouTube community, through our subscriptions. So just giving you a little update, we're at 24.1K.
Nice.
We want to by the end of Magic Round, get your
25?
mates. Get your
Can we get to 25?
Let's get to 25. 25 is a big jump because at the moment we're jumping at roughly a couple of hundred per week. On Instagram, we're flying off the back of a couple of those clips. We jumped 800.
Yeah.
We got an extra 800 followers. On TikTok, 1,700
Jesus.
within a week. TikTok is just flying.
I thought they canned TikTok, man. No? Is that just America? Are we still good here?
Oh, I think so. I don't know. That's probably ongoing. It's
Doesn't
political.
matter.
It's still going. Yeah, it's still going. Look, you got the thumbs
Some people will
up.
be out of jobs.
And make sure you subscribe on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a podcast review. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
This is off the back of the chat we had about Wayne Bennett and Dan George is confident in Christian Wolf not being I would say maybe being an outlier on the results of coaches that have followed Wayne. He brings up these couple of details which I think are pretty important. I wouldn't expect the same outcome with Christian Wolf compared to the other coaches who Bennett has left behind, who have not had coaching experience. Wolf won 3 straight Super League titles with St. Helens before coming to the Dolphins. I think Wolfie only won 2, by the way. As I was reading that out, I know Holbrook won 1 before he left.
Yeah,
I think maybe Christian Wolf won a couple. Plus, he's Katoa's coach at the Tonga side, which is a bonus. So I really expect things to continue to build at Dolphin Oval. What do you reckon specifically? Because we were chatting about this, how I think it's well known that coaches struggle after Wayne.
Yeah.
Do you think Christian Wolf can be an outlier?
I think Wayne is at the twilight end of his career. I don't think he's ever going to set anyone up for failure in these next couple of moves. You know, he's probably relaxed a little bit in that case, and he's not silly. Like he was the inaugural coach for the Broncos. He was the inaugural coach for this new club now, the Dolphins as well. So he wants to set that club up, right?
Yep.
And everyone will be in 20 years when we talk about the Dolphins, it'll be Wayne Bennett still.
Yeah.
The legacy that he's left there in 2 years, we talk, what a gritty team. Why are they like that? They just never give up. They don't give up on plays because it's cemented already in 2 years. It's the DNA from the old boy, from Wayne Bennett, you know. So Christian Wolf's a great person. He's a great coach.
Do you know much about
I know
Christian
Wolfie,
Wolf?
man. He was at the Bulldogs, man, like in the mid-2000s, just doing like SG ball coaching. He's done his time.
Okay.
He's really done his time. He was at the Cowboys when I was there in 2010. I think he was a 20s coach. And then he just like was moving around. He went over to St. Helens, successful over there. He just bided his time, right?
Yep.
He waited for what's the name to go?
Holbrook
to go, and then he took over there, Tongan team, all that kind of stuff. So he's learnt the ropes the hard way and started from the bottom.
And I guess the greatest compliment or the highest praise I've heard from Christian Wolf over the last couple of years is he was a really key component of the drive from Tonga.
Yeah, man.
And the buy-in, like, you know how
he's got his own fucking land in Tonga.
Well, you know how there was unrest at times with the Samoan coach. What was his name again?
Parrish.
There was never really that feeling with Christian Wolf, right? He was always beloved by the Tongan community.
Brought into
by the players.
Yeah.
They all love him. When you've got, I guess, I say this all the time, the NRL was filled with nearly 60% Pacific Islanders in this day and age. So if you have a great understanding of what it's like with the Pacific Islander players, very similar to what Ivan Cleary has at Penrith Panthers and Webster, you know, and it's not having the greatest year this year, but his experience dealing with those players, I think that's another
goes a long way, man. You have to have it because all the brothers, like, you know, as I said, like 50-60% of rosters are Polynesian now. So if you can't see things from their point of view and perspective, you're going to go a long way. You're going to lose the dressing room. Right?
Yeah, you've got to understand them, right?
Yeah, understand. It's not about football. It's the culture. It's the parents. It's the church. There's a lot of variables that go into it. It's just not about grabbing the talent from you and then just that's it. It's a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand the family, everything that comes with it, man. And those coaches know. And that's why you got to credit guys like Wayne Bennett. He started coaching in the 70s, man, and he just evolved. There was 5% Polynesian when I started in 2000. 5%.
Yep.
Now it's 50 to 60, and it's only going to get stronger. So those coaches, those new age coaches, they understand.
It's funny, like if you think about, and now sort of going on a bit of a tangent, but I like it. Like if you think of Wayne and how he evolved, and I guess the greatest compliment that I always hear with Wayne, and specifically Bellamy, who are the two longest tenured coaches and the most successful, is felt like there was Wayne almost cared more about the player the person and the
Yes.
player, and therefore organically you understand their community if you are like that. And I guess the beauty of Bellamy, and this is never playing under him, but just hearing how he was as a coach, is that he implemented, I guess, like if you think about the run that Pacific Islanders and Kiwis and how we've developed as players over the years, Bellamy's a big part of implementing those principles into Islander players that they sort of didn't have in the right way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the biggest thing for Islander players before, probably you're an outlier as well, like in the guys you come through, we don't need to name them. But it's more so like you had that fitness culture at the Bulldogs, and then probably Melbourne were the next best at developing that fitness culture in Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
And I think Bellamy did that, and Wayne understood the culture the best, and that's why they've been so successful.
But Wayne understands people more than anything. He's a people's coach. He's a player's coach. And as you said before, and you touched on it before, he actually cares about you as a person before the player, because he knows how important it is for your whole life to be in balance. And then football's easy. Football's easy for you, but you need everything outside of football to be well balanced and to be happy, family, friends, all that sort of shit. Get that in place, and football is the easiest thing for us.
That's just life.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's an analogy for life, really, isn't it? Football's the easiest part for us players. It's the other shit that comes with it, being a professional, being an athlete, being a professional athlete, right? It's the 1%ers, eating the right foods, having discipline, sacrificing a lot, family, friends, everything. You can't do what your mate doing at high school, and he's just got a normal job. You're trying to be a pro athlete in a fucking world where it's a dog eat dog world. It's the hardest sport you can go. You can't fuck around and be a great NRL player.
Yeah,
you got to be all in, but you got to have things that's balanced. And Wayne understands it. So when I talk to him these days, I go around to his house. I can't wait if he comes down to South.
Yeah.
I used to go around. He got me into coaching. He got me back into the game
So
because
many good nuggets.
he's just like, I just sit there. There's a table about fucking 10 meters long. He's sitting at one end. I'm up the other end, sitting there having a cup of tea. We sit there and just talk about how's your mum?
Yeah.
How's your brother? How's this? It's about 5 other conversations before footy even gets mentioned.
Yeah.
And you can't buy that, man. That's just invaluable to me. Like, that's why I look at the game a lot different than other people, because that's why I've been in the coaching sort of system and the pathways. I understand, man.
You know what? I'm just listening to you say that. This is why I think probably he resonates better with and gets the best out of the Stars, because you think about what you like, you and your profile. For me, I don't get hammered about footy all the time because I'm not as recognisable. But anytime anyone sees you,
it's just
they want to speak footy, right? What's going on with the Bulldogs? What's going on with Origin? It must just get fucking, especially if we're doing this show as well. You get over it. So it's refreshing that when you see Wayne, who's in the footy community, and how's the family? Talks about life. That's just what's, in my opinion, I'm listening to it. Fuck, that makes a lot of sense.
And same as guys like the most 3 best coaches. You got Wayne Bennett, Ricky Stuart, Craig Bellamy. They're all people that are my mentors in rugby league. Like, I go down to Belly. Belly goes, "Mate, what's going on? You good? You getting into coaching? Good. If you need anything, give me a call.
Yeah.
If you need any advice, like that's the sort of the rapport that I have with these coaches.
Yeah.
Ricky Stuart loves the fucking show. Loves it. He messaged me. I told you, he messaged me. He goes, "Big fella, is this your number? Sticky."
Yeah.
I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Fucking love your show." I think he heard when we got the fuck him on the thing.
Yeah.
So he messaged, he goes, "Anytime you boys are down, come over, we'll have a beer." You know what I mean? Like, I've just got really good relationships with the main people that are in the coaching world.
Those big names, mate.
Yeah. And I'll ring them up if I've got problems and I don't know how to handle stuff or different situations, and Gus School as well.
Yep.
So those 4 people they're guys I can ring and just go, just whatever I'm feeling. Because they're good listeners, right?
Yeah.
I'll fucking hit them with a 10-minute soliloquy and they'll be like, okay,
good.
they'll come back with an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll let me talk and then they'll go, "All right, well, this is how you deal with it." I'm like, "Okay, sweet. All right, now let's talk."
So good. And even, again, another thing that, like, as I was listening to you there, all of that stuff is so applicable, just not only sportsmen, but
Life,
just life,
mate.
life in general.
Yeah.
So many good nuggets. And if you can apply, I guess, with being able to listen to people, the lifestyle, being balanced, even if it's not like footy,
this is life,
your
man.
work-life
These
balance.
are life skills that you get given from these coaches. And that's the beauty of that's why I want to get into coaching a little bit with the pathways, to give these kids skills, life skills. It's just not all about being the greatest rugby league player. If you leave the pathways in the Bulldogs and you become a better human, we've done our job. Mate, football's not for everyone, right?
Yeah, well said, mate. All right, this one is from Brende G. This is off the back of your board. And I've just got the one. There's a couple, but this is the one that stood out the most. Brende G thought it would be remiss if I didn't mention that I always mention that I'm good mates with Ches. So basically,
yes. Come on, get him, boys.
just like you do the soundboard
mate.
with the Bulldogs boys,
You just can't
I
help it.
always let everyone know that I'm good mates with Ches, which I am. He's one of my best
Well,
mates.
you
and
can't. You're not lying.
He's the current skipper.
I'm not
of the
lying.
Queensland team, current skipper.
300 game plus.
I might call him after this, actually. All right, this one is a YouTube question. I really like this one, and it's more of a shout out. Hey fellas, day one here, haven't missed an app. I was at the Storm vs Sharks game on the weekend. Kiwi lad now living in Melbourne. Amy Park for one is crazy, but I was super impressed with Hughes and especially Xavier Coates. Before the game, both were signing autographs and taking photos with fans, obviously both injured mates. Yep. Coates would have stayed out on the sidelines for at least another 15 minutes interacting with people. Great to see players really make that effort with fans and something I haven't seen to that degree before. Just wanted to shine some light on it because it caught me off guard with how welcoming and a good bloke he was. So shout out Jerome Hughes.
Well done, boys.
Xavier Coates.
These are things that a lot of rugby league stars do.
Yeah.
A lot of these players, they know what they mean to the community and to the NRL and to Storm and to the Bulldogs and to the Broncos. They do a lot, man. I've seen some players stay out there for like nearly 45 minutes to an hour after the game signing autographs, because they do the whole lap. If you're willing to do a whole lap, because most players will duck straight in, you do the lap. If you get caught over there, it's going to take you ages because you can't just brush everyone and just run back in. So I've seen Fox be out there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I love it.
A lot of these young kids and a lot of these like players now, like senior players, younger players, they love the fans, man.
Yeah.
But you just don't get it. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
You're going to pull yourself up.
No, I'm not pulling up. This is the way I speak.
Yeah, keep going with it.
Don't get it twisted. Like when you lose a game, it's awful. It's
tough.
You know, you don't even want to really, it's not like you don't want to do it, but you just want to get into the sheds and go, fuck.
Speak about the coaching pressure, right? That's associated with it because back in our day, it wasn't as common. There were still players that did it. I was like, it's sort of... I appreciate it now. It's something that I never did. I always felt the external pressure. Like if we were out there too long, it's like the coaches wanted to have their messages. That was the feeling coaches get. Now it's way more common and I love it. It's actually when I went to the Super League, I realised the importance of it. Super League are great over there. Yeah. It's like a non-negotiable. When you're in the Super League, basically the whole team goes around. If we were at an away game, we'd go find our Wakey faithful, go over, give them a clap, thank them, maybe go sign a few autographs. But that I always felt a little bit uncomfortable with that because I wasn't used to it in the NRL. No. But now I understand the importance of it. And I think I see the Melbourne Storm culture has been great for years at it. Yeah, so just say with Coates and Jerome Hughes, well done, boys. But they're injured, right? Yes, even so better. You sort of expect them to do that. You're going to get caught in that. But like, I honestly don't remember us, like just say with the Bulldogs or any team, when the whistle's blown, you're straight in to listen to the coach. Yep. It wasn't about, because like, as I said, like, you want to go in there and debrief so you can get the fuck out of there. Yeah. Win, lose, or draw, right? And celebrate the wins, celebrate the losses, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Just get it over and done with, because the longer you're out there, you know what I mean? Especially if you get towed up, I expect everyone to be in the sheds. Yeah. Winning, it's a little bit different. You can do all that near the sheds and stuff like that if you're there. But if you do the whole lap, fuck that. If you're a true fan as well, you'll wait outside. That was my next. That's what I said. You wait outside and then you sign everything. Yeah. When it's the game, still you're in game mode. So if you see players walk off, fans, if they lose, fucking don't get angry. Yeah. Because they've just lost something that they've worked their asses off for the whole week and their 80-minute effort. And you might get flogged, or you might get beat by 2 points. It's fucking awful. Yeah. You just want to go in there, hang out with your brothers, debrief with the coach, relax a little bit, and then you go outside. And if you're a real fan and if you want the autograph, you'll get it because you'll wait outside. But also, you got to appreciate what the players are doing now, because look, I understand. I fucking love it. I think, sorry. And I think COVID played a big part in it, because COVID, you weren't allowed, no fans, no nothing. So there was about 2 years of like not doing anything. Now, the players actually realise the fans love the players and everything like that. So they'll do those laps, and the coaches will allow them to do that. Some coaches don't. Here's another factor too, mate. Just with kids. So sometimes if the game starts at 8 o'clock, it finishes at 10, so they can't wait around that extra half an hour, 40 minutes. So if you go get those pitches and done quickly, obviously if you get flogged and you lose, you don't want them doing the entire lap. But if they can get maybe an extra 15 minutes, that's another great part of this that adds to it as well.
And
but I was still the same.
Yeah, you know the diehards.
We come from
the diehards would be fucking right there.
They'll be there.
They'll be there.
They'll be there for an extra half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, they don't care. And that's why after a game, I would sign everybody's autograph.
Yeah,
but when it's the game's over, I'm straight in the sheds.
Yep, great work, boys. Melbourne Storm, Xavier Coates and Jerome Hughes doing great things, especially when you're injured too. Because even though it's probably expected, when
just sucks
when you're not a part of the game. It's that easy to be distracted and not want to do these sorts of things because you want to be out there with the boys. So well done, mates. This one is from Matteo Falopal. Apologies if I've pronounced that incorrectly. 2-part question. How hard is it for a marquee new player? We'll give a marquee player and then I'll give my perspective. Mace is a bit of a journeyman as well because we've got a journeyman question down below as well. Signing to gel with their new team. For example, RTS going to the Warriors hasn't been smooth sailing. Either has Jack Wyden at the Bunnies or over the years, some of the Penrith boys that have left Penrith, right? So I want to ask you a few questions like you're a marquee player, Bulldogs to Roosters. Us fans have a false perception that these gun players will make an impact from day dot, but in reality, it's hit and miss. How long did it take you guys to settle into your new teams? I want to ask you specifically about the Bulldogs transition to the Roosters, and did it become easier to identify over the years how it was to fit in or seeing quicker results?
All right, that's a good question, because I can really relate to it. Being at the Bulldogs for 10 years, playing first grade for 8 years there, players sort of knowing how you play. You're the senior player there at the end of the day, like you're part of the leadership group, you're leader of the pack, all that sort of stuff, and then going to the Roosters, right? Whole different dynamics of people, trainers, everything like that, right? So there's all those little variables. Then on the field, coaches might have a different fucking idea where you should play. So like at the Bulldogs, right, I could defend. I usually would defend in the middle and attack wherever I wanted to. Yep. It wasn't like structured like it is now. Your right side back row, you stay on the right. Left side back row, you stay on the left. Middles, do whatever you want, So like I had a free reign where I wanted to attack. Down in the red zone, I could get out wide, spot a 3-man up on the right side or the left side.
Yep.
That's the way we used to play. It was just odd. We could do whatever we want.
Can I ask you a question quickly? Sorry. Specifically, was that just you? Did everyone get that?
Everyone had a run. Everyone. So me, Sonny, Rennie, Bobcat was the only one who used to sit on the left edge. He stayed on his left edge. He defended at left 4, where I could defend at right 4, in the middle, left 4, or whatever. Yep. Me and Sonny would be on at the same time. We could attack wherever the fuck we wanted to.
Yep.
And Sonny would come on the back row, or I'd be up the front row. It didn't matter. It was very interchangeable. Ogre, Roy, myself, Sonny, Rennie, Bobcat.
Were you always looking for the spots?
Yes.
Yeah.
So whoever the fucking right 3 was going to get bombarded. Or the left 3. So Bobcat we'd go inside out with Bobcat, hang plays, all this sort of stuff. Shifty would be going to the line with Braith.
Yep.
Like it was just really, really fun football.
Yep.
Straight to the Roosters, Freddie had a whole different philosophy on it. He'd be like, stay on the right side. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
This is fucked. This is boring. I could stay on the right side of the field, defend at right 4. I could defend at right 4. I used to defend at right 4 for New South Wales, left 4 for Australia, in the middle, wherever. I just could, I was just very versatile like that. But I'm like, I'm not staying on one fucking side. It killed me.
That's why you're always big. I guess we'll get to David Fifita in a bit. That's why you're pretty adamant that you'd like to see more of this.
Fucking more, because he's got...
Even though it's like, I guess it's a critique on Freddie, that's just how they play these days, where everyone's sat.
Yeah, I know, it is, and it's Melbourne's fault.
Yeah.
So Melbourne had the Hoffmans on the left and fucking whoever's on the right. And like
Kevin Proctor.
And Proctor, they just always stayed in that. But that's how Melbourne played. Yeah. We don't play like fucking Melbourne. The Bulldogs don't play like Melbourne. The Roosters don't play like Melbourne.
Everyone tried to copy
Everyone's just a copy. It's a copycat league, right? Yeah. What are we trying to do with fucking Penrith? Trying to do exactly the same. So like Freddie sort of had to figure out what sort of position I was, and he goes, pretty much do the same you did at the Dogs. So I could go in the middle, attack wherever I wanted to. Yep. Started playing good football. Wasn't restricted to one area. Because it's just like, say, David Fifita, I look at him, he's a right arm carry, got a left palm, but he likes to be on the left. You know what I mean? Because his hips move that way. You get the ball more on the left side, right side particularly, more dominant, kick chase, all that shit.
Tell people why that's awkward though, the right arm carry. Why is that awkward for a left hand?
Well, he's on the right, he's on the left side of the field. That's why guys like Kickow and Sonny Bill and all these blokes with genuine left arm carries on the left side of the field, Bradman Best, bang, Latrell Mitchell, Churchill, bang.
Yeah.
Greg Inglis, boom.
Yeah.
It's so hard to defend. You're on the right side. If you can't swap hands good in that contact, you're not as powerful and balanced.
Across.
You got to palm across your body.
Or bump.
GI could do that, but he's got the bump, right? So he's got a mad little bit of the in and away bump straight on your shoulder, and you're off balance. He can bust through. He's got a left foot, right foot. That's why he could play right side easily. If Sam Walker's on that right side, he could easily switch.
Yep.
Not Sam Walker now. We'll get to that.
Yep.
But he could go on each side. But that's why I like the way that he plays, because he's got good leg speed. He's probably a prop just in a fucking center's body.
Yeah.
He's so but I don't want to, as you said before, I wouldn't want to waste him in the middle either, because there's a lot of contact, there's a lot of work. It'll blow him out.
I like the idea. I like the idea of the style play you used to play at the Bulldogs with him. If he would have to, obviously there'd be more Ks in it, but if you could defend him on the left edge, because that might be a part of it, right? He might feel really comfortable on the left side defending. Because for me, for instance, like I had about halfway through, I ended up getting an injury on my left shoulder that I still struggle with now when I'm doing training. And so I like defending on the right, because I felt I could stay a lot squarer later and had more confidence in my right shoulder. Once they moved me to the right edge, I used to turn my right shoulder to make my tackles, because
people don't understand how hard that is.
Yeah.
Like to defend on the left side or the right side, you're coming up and in.
Heaps.
Yeah, it's like you turn your shoulders in. It's fucking hard. But in saying that, as I said, like it is hard because you got to get used to other players and how you play. I'm playing with a whole new nine. I played with Corey Hughes for 10 years. Now I'm playing with
Jake.
Mitch Orbison was there, and Friendy ended up taking over a little bit, and we had Riley Brown. So I wasn't a real genuine nine.
Did they start Mitch Orbison at 9 when you?
No, his other brother.
Oh, James Orbison.
So he was coming in. So he didn't have a genuine nine until Friendy sort of come in around about 08, and then I left. So it was it is hard. It wasn't hard for me to go into Newcastle because Wayne knew how I played.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard for me going to North Queensland or even Manly, because I was just like more in the front row then. I could just do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah.
But as back rowers, it's a bit different. Like because in the modern day game, I'd probably be lock.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a ball playing lock. But just say you had Roy and Ogre, Sonny Bill, Bobcat, and me in the back row.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do there?
Yeah.
Like you just and I think we'd still play that real like. That sort of brand of footy where we could just fucking attack everywhere, have a couple of guys that sit on edges. We could just all fall in. Like if I was in the middle, Sonny could play right four.
Yeah.
Sonny caught in a tackle, I'd go right four.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I think was specifically with me, I ended up playing at a couple of different clubs. I was more of a plug and play player. So my role was super simple. I actually found it a lot easier. Whereas it felt like there was a little bit more, because we were struggling at Parramatta, I felt like I had to do more. By the time I got to Manly, it was so good because I just had to run my lines, keep it nice and simple. And then when I went overseas, one thing I found is that when you go from somewhere successful like you had at the Bulldogs, that's the only time I can compare. I sort of would always go, well, this worked at Manly. And it's one of those things you don't want to be saying at clubs.
That you got, but
yeah, and the players, they resent those sort of remarks. Like boys used to say it to me jokingly, but like when you get, I guess we talked about the soundboard, right? Where you bring up the players because naturally you think about the best times or the most successful times. So you think about your pack and those good times of Bulldogs. And then I got that at the back end. And when you're playing at a team like Wakefield Trinity, for example, and I'm bringing up, we did this right. This is what worked for us at Manly.
You don't want that.
And the other boys just start going, well, you're not at Manly anymore. So
exactly.
Pull up. Yeah. Okay, Mace. Next one is from Kirk, England. Hey, boys, loving the potty. Scope, no hate at all. Do you think you wouldn't have been such a journeyman for your career if you were in a better system? For example, Melbourne over Parra to start with, and do you think better systems could have helped players in other ways? Cheers, boys. Yeah, it's a real... I don't take offence to this at all, by the way. It's a good question, Kirk. There was a sliding doors moment for me, and I was, everyone knows I talk a lot about my relationship with Daly and Manly. I refer back to them. There was actually an opportunity where I could have gone to Melbourne, or I was talking to Melbourne, and I thought I was done. And I always think about that sliding doors moment, how it would have been, because I loved having a good time. I was more of a locker room guy. So when I went to Manly, I sort of loved that that system, that old school style of footy, and there were some bad habits that creeped into my footy and life away from footy down at Manly. Even though we were so successful, I was probably going out and we had I was single. having a good time there.
Still young,
like mid-20s.
Yeah, prime time.
Couple other single boys, notably the Snake, the fullback, partying with him, which was great. Like I said, there's no regrets in the fun that I had there. But I always think about if I'd gone to Melbourne, how different it could have been. Like, yeah, the boys down in Melbourne have a good time, but they've got this culture that they build. And during that period, those two teams were like the outliers for the complete difference. Like
polar opposites.
They were playing in grand finals against each other in 7 and 8. They'd won, Melbourne won a 7, they'd won an 8, then Manly had won again later, and they win again in 12. And they were so successful, but they were two completely different cultures. And I always think, what if, what if I'd gone, like if I'd ended up.
So you had the Melbourne offer at the same time you had.
Well, I had a chat with Bellyache and Frank Panisi, and I thought I was done. They ended up changing their mind and going somewhere else and picked up a couple of other players. This is when I was finishing up at Para. And then a week later, I get a call, or I see Brad Arthur in Bali, actually, and he had just signed as assistant coach at Manly.
Yeah, right.
So I ended up going to Manly, but I always think, like, what would have happened? Like, that's my sliding doors moment. Were there any teams, I think Melbourne's one stands out for a lot of
Melbourne
people.
was one of mine.
Did you ever think, like, you were in this really good Bulldogs culture, just say if you didn't go from Bulldogs to the Roosters, were there any sliding doors moments where you think, what if, or what culture you think you would love to have been a part of?
I would have liked Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think I got a few offers. I got a really good relationship with Belly. I was close to going to Melbourne when I got back from my little hiatus in the south of France. So that would have been 12, 13, 14.
Yeah, wow.
But the powers to be, it was all done with Belly.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously
the higher ups,
they're owned by fucking News Limited or whatever. It got knocked on there from that high up. Yeah. He was filthy. Yeah, I was fucking filthy. They won another fucking 2 premierships.
Yeah. Did they win 14?
Well, they won 14.
No, they didn't.
12.
They
won
12 and so 13 was Roosters, obviously. Yeah. Rabbitohs 14. Did they win 15? No.
Nah, Cowboys.
So you would have got one
16, yeah.
You would have got another one.
Would have got Jag one.
Or like if you were playing them, it could have been different.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
So that was like nearly a deal done.
So we could have played together earlier, potentially. We could have been playing in 13 together.
Exactly.
If they'd got both.
Yeah, but like it would have been good because I thought the deal was done as well. So Melbourne at that time. So I got offered Melbourne in the mid 2000s, but the Bulldogs were such a great club and they were starting their run, right?
Yeah.
For me, a 5-year deal, that would have been like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow.
Yeah. But I said Melbourne weren't Melbourne, right? They were still building to where Melbourne was.
Yeah.
So that's one club only because of the culture and because of Craig Bellamy.
Yeah,
just great relationships with those guys. Great relationships with Ricky. Like I was close to going to any coach that I like a Ricky Stuart coach club, or Bellamy or Wayne.
With your relationships,
with relationships like that. So
it's funny. I remember
very important.
I had a chat to Belly for about an hour, and we were just going over like just trying to get a feel for me and all that sort of stuff and. I remember just like not even being able to concentrate because I was really starstruck, and it was it was over a phone conversation too. He's one of those guys. He's good,
man. He's got him in Origin, man. Like, and he was assistant coach on Kangaroo Tours like 2003, 2004 in assistant coaches in Origin. So I've been around him for ages, and then he started like the Melbourne gig in like 04 or 03.
Yep.
Then just went from there. Same as Des. No, Des was the assistant coach for the Blues in 2003.
Was he?
Then he was the coach he started in Manly in 04.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think that was the same with Belly as well. 03 and then they started 04, both of them.
Okay.
Same sort of tenure. So it's good people, man.
Been around for a minute. That's why.
So they don't really have to you don't have to have the one-on-one conversations with guys like that because they've seen you in camp and they know what you're about. And that's at the pinnacle as well. So
you're in your prime.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Speaking of in their prime, David Fifita is in his prime at the moment. He's playing so good. So he has a number of suitors, or had a number of suitors. He has backflipped. He's done the reverse cherry as we mentioned. He is sensationally backed out of a $3.3 million deal for 4 years at the Sydney Roosters. So let's start on that, mate. Specifically, let's start with Dave. Put yourself in David Fifita's shoes. Why do you think he either had hesitations or decided to stay at the Gold Coast? Do you think, because I've thrown this out, did it anyway playing on the weekend, getting the win and being booed to start the game factor into this at all?
That would have hurt him.
Yep.
I reckon that would have hurt him. There'd be nothing worse than that. And could he cop it for the rest of the year? They probably never would have done that because they did that with Payne Haas. Yeah. Payne Haas copped it worse. Brisbane fans are a lot more vocal with shit like that.
It felt like that went on for at least 4 games with pain.
Yeah, he got booed twice.
And that's just because he
got booed
refused.
twice.
He hadn't even signed anywhere else. He just said he wasn't signing at the Broncos.
Yeah, he wasn't extending, and he got booed for fucking 3 weeks. So I think with Fifita, I'm not sure what's happened here. I know a little bit about it. I just think I reckon it's both parties.
Yeah.
I think you don't fuck around with the Roosters and be uneasy and like, go talk to Penrith, because I hear that this deal was on the table about 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Yep.
And then Penrith come in, and then I think the Roosters got pissed off that he even looked at Penrith.
Yeah, okay.
And then they got they took a lot of heat off the Roosters, which is good. But this could have been done about 6 weeks ago.
We mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
Like the Roosters were the ones. The Roosters
were the ones. Yeah, the Roosters were the ones that nearly had this deal done, because they knew at that time they didn't want Crichton, because Crichton wasn't being Crichton now.
Yeah.
So they were going, okay, let's just try and get this deal done with the young Fifita. They knew we had a clause around 10, blah, 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 blah. They're not dumb. They're the best movers in the world. If they want their man, they get him. Then they would have been pissed off, because they're the fucking Roosters.
But then how do they get to the point where, all right, they're pissed off still, but they agree and it's done?
Yeah. And then they just would have, and then I think there would have been a hesitation from Fifita's party.
Yep.
And the management. And then I reckon Nick's just going, fuck you. If you don't want to be here, don't worry about it. And I reckon then both parties try to get on the front foot saying, I'm reneging, or I'm the one who pulled the deal. So it was a fucking mutual agreement, I reckon.
You know when like just say if you're in a group of friends and you're at high school.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like.
Yeah.
And
I dropped her.
You're 16, you're in the food court, and you're like, oh, aren't you going out with someone?
No, I dropped her.
He goes, yeah, I broke up with her. No, she said that she broke up with you. No, that's not how it happened.
No way.
So
I said I don't want it.
Yeah, so we'll probably never find out what the actual truth is.
And I'm pretty sure, like, by the time a couple of weeks ago, the Roosters would have been filthy that Penrith's like Penrith's nearly swayed him. The narrative was he's going to Penrith.
Yeah.
I sort of knew that he was signing with the Roosters. And I'm like, shit, I know the Roosters roll. If you don't want to be all in at the Roosters, they're not going to be all in.
Okay, let's throw this in there then. Are you filthy if you're the Panthers now?
I don't know. I don't think the Panthers probably thought that they had a shot. Yeah, and what is it? Is it a money thing, do you reckon? So just say what the 3.3 over 4 years is not that much.
So it's 850. I thought he was on 850 or $1 million. I thought like the I guess if you were going to trigger,
when I say not much, I don't mean
for his level,
for his, for other players getting that much money
for what teams would have paid for him. It's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think it's I'm an outsider looking in. David Fifita, I've never met him before. Seems like a super sensitive guy, and that's without like I never really see him be. He's the biggest player, most scariest player on the field. Never really gets aggressive with anyone in the sense like he won't push them down after he carries the ball. When he tackles people, you know how like everyone's got that little bit of grub in them to a degree, like a little bit of dog.
He just plays the game hard and
fair. He plays the game hard and fair, and it's a credit to him because he's such a big boy. He's like, he almost seems a little bit too nice for me at times.
Well, it comes with age too, man. Comes with confidence, comes with age. He's 24 years old.
Yeah.
The next 6 or 7 years is going to be very, very fucking good for him.
Yeah.
And I just think maybe the Titans come back and went, fuck, here's $1 million. You know?
Yeah.
Do you see a world where that happens? I do.
Well, I thought he'd be on $1 million anyway before that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was on 1.2 mil when he was down here, when he first come down to the Titans.
Yeah.
And then they put it all the way back to 850. It's a lot of money.
Okay.
So took 450 off his contract.
So if that is the case, and look, this is
450 or 350.
There's grey area. Can we agree that there's definitely grey area around those figures?
I'm thinking he got re-upped.
Okay.
And the Titans are going, yeah, what do you want?
Yeah.
Well, give us 900, give us $1 million or something a year. And they went, okay, done. Because he's too big a loss.
Yeah.
He's a massive loss, you know. And it doesn't look good on the coaching staff or what sort of administration that's up there. It don't look good when your best player wants out. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm like, if it's a money thing, if it's a coaching thing, if it's something, they would have sorted it out.
Yeah. Can you, what about, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to throw out all the different scenarios for this. Has Dave Fifita, even though he made the decision last week, which is sort of counterproductive for this argument, maybe that win specifically on the weekend?
And the boo, if he's sensitive?
Not, yeah. So
the boo?
We sort of addressed the boo, but what about losing AJ Brimson with 10 minutes to go, losing Foz with 20 minutes to go, and the fight that this Titans team has showed in the last month. Maybe he's seen signs of it, pulled the trigger. They come up with a big win on the weekend, and he can see that Des is genuinely building something. Do you think that's factored in any way?
I think so. I think he's had another conversation with the CEOs, with the chairmen, with the coaches, with the sports science, because I hear there's some problems up there with the coaching staff, sports science people.
Okay,
that's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
It's not. That's what like Justin Holbrook didn't see eye to eye with that sort of shit, and it's not good.
Okay,
and that's from pretty good sources up there. So it's like, okay, I understand if you're a young kid, you want to get the best out of yourself.
Yep.
You know, you go somewhere else. You go to a Roosters or a Penrith. That's what I thought was happening.
Okay, but
obviously this is all conjecture and allegedly. You know, like maybe the money just rose up a little bit. Maybe he saw the prices of Sydney houses and went, "Fuck this! Why am I living in a shack? I buy a mansion on the Gold Coast,
2-bed unit for a house in Goldie.
Yeah, 3-4 mil for this. I got to knock this shit down." Yeah. Anyway, good luck to him. Hope he kills it up there.
Yep. All right, let's go to the Roosters now. So now that he has had a change of mind and decided to stay at the Roosters. There was a domino effect that happened at the Roosters over the last 5 days. A couple of those dominoes, the biggest one is Angus Crichton. Yeah. I got a couple of quotes from Angus Crichton. The club was flush with depth at the second row position, but this is what Angus said last week. It doesn't, or even, I guess this was Monday. When did the news break? On Tuesday. So Angus had these quotes on Monday. It does make you question where their head's at, Crichton told reporters after news for Fifita. He was quite honest. He goes, "No one's talked to me," which is funny. And then Robbo had said that it was, basically paraphrasing Robbo, it was really going to be hard to keep Angus Crichton, even though probably a week ago he said they'd like to keep both. Once the deal was done for Fifita, he said it was going to be hard to find space to keep Angus Crichton. Yeah. They already told also Silatili Tupanua that he was okay to negotiate with other clubs. Good stuff. All right, let's start with Angus Crichton. Does he take this do the Roosters now want to keep Angus Crichton? First question. And second of all, does Angus Crichton's pride take over here and go, fuck you.
Yeah, this is
you went all in another back row. You missed him. I'm not your second option.
Yeah, I can see from Angus's point of view that you'd be fucking a little bit pissed off. Yeah, that's when your pride gets in the way, your ego gets in the way. You're like, I'm still that dude. Don't worry about that. Now you want me? What am I, second fiddle? Hopefully he doesn't. The Roosters are hoping on that. You know, he's been at the club for like, what, five years now?
And I think he suits their style way better. I was always a little bit hesitant with David Fifita in that style.
Yeah.
But I think
that's what probably Fifita's been tossing up as well. Do I suit the style of play down here? You know, like, I don't know. He would have been tossing up all that sort of shit, but back to Angus, I'm like, okay, what do I? This is me putting my hat on in that position. I'll be just like,
you're Angus, right?
I'll be like, you know what? Fuck you.
You're his level of play.
Yeah, I'll be just like, nah, man, I'm supposed to be that guy, and you want to go get Fifita? Oh, fucking monster Fifita. You know what I mean? That's what I'll be thinking.
Yeah.
I'm fucking that'd be the competitive. I'm way better than him. I'm fucking starting back row for Australia, New South Wales, everything like that. You know what I mean? And then you just got to think, what's good for my football? And how old is Gus now?
He'd
be 28?
28, I'd say.
29, you know, is he going to go back to does he go back to the Rabbits? No, I don't think so.
He's 28.
Yeah, he's 28. He's still got about 5 years left.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure they'll offer him a 3-year deal and some real decent coin. He knows that they're building or something there.
So can the right number...
It'll sway him because you...
flip your pride or...
Yeah, it will. Yeah. And it's not about...
You can win someone back with the right number.
You can, but you're going to win it back with the crew that you've got as well.
Yeah.
You know, like he loves the Roosters there. He loves where he's living. He loves everything about it. He's got a business down in Bondi. Yeah. Like he's very, very embedded in the community down there.
What's the name of the hairdresser? Let's give the hairdressers A-Flow?
A-Flow.
AC Flow,
AC Flow down there. So he goes, he goes. You know, what does he want to move to South? If he moved to South, he could probably. I'm not sure what sort of money South have. That he want to go backwards?
Oh, you think South is a candidate?
Yeah, I heard they're a candidate. He's not going to go out to Penrith. Not a chance. Yep. Regardless, I don't think Penrith would really probably want him either. I'm just saying. But I'm like, does he go to Union? Union's on its knees in this country.
I would say there's reports around French rugby.
Yeah.
And Japanese
can he just jump onto that because he was a great schoolboy, hasn't played for 10 years?
I think that would be the biggest threat.
So it's either Union or he stays at South. No, he's either Union or he stays at the Roosters.
I think so.
And I think that, the Roosters, they're in a bit of a rebuilding stage as well. He's won a premiership at the Roosters.
So moving on next year, retiring Luke Keary.
That's his crew.
Jared Hargraves.
That's his crew.
Joseph Manu.
Crew.
Joseph Swaliti.
Not really.
He's in the vlogs. Have you seen the vlogs?
I know, but like he's still not as tight. He hasn't won a premiership with these guys, man.
That's true. Yep, that's true. But yeah, those are three big names, aren't they?
Big names.
We're probably forgetting a couple more that I've...
Tupanua, all these guys that'll be gone as well. Like,
Tupanua, now we'll get to Tupanua after.
No, but like he's got to think about what he wants to do next, like because this is going to be his last big contract.
Yeah.
Does he want to play till he's 35, 36, 37? Then go to Union.
Play till 37?
Yeah, you do that in Union. Matt Giddo's still fucking running around. He's 40.
Yeah, but Matt Giddo's been a fucking
catching pass. Matt Giddo's been catching pass for 30 years.
And catching strays with you.
I'm joking. I love Gits.
Yeah, but
love you, Gits.
I think maybe one more decent contract for Angus in the league if he wanted to stay. Get him to 31, 32, I think is more realistic.
Three more years, 31, 30, and then he can just...
He could go to French rugby after that.
Yeah, if he's going to go now.
But if he's going to make bulk, he's got to go now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the biggest threat...
That's what he wants, man. I don't know what he wants. Like, he's achieved everything in the game.
Well, there was reports, obviously, around rugby union at the start of the year. Then he had this disrupted year last year. His form at the start of the year was okay. He was coming off the bench playing front row, remember, at times. Now he's established himself again. I think those big money offers will come back from rugby union.
Oh, they're coming. Don't worry, because they know how good of a fucking union player he was.
Yeah.
But that's up to him, man.
All right, let's get to Domino 3. Tilly Tupanua. It was reported that he was told that he could negotiate with other teams. I think he has a deal. He's still got 3 years left on his deal.
Yeah, I thought he re-upped last year, didn't he?
But they were obviously assuming they were going to get David Fifita. Therefore, you can't keep Siwa Wong, Tilly Tupanua, Egan Butcher, Nat Butcher, like all these names that they had. They were stacked at the position.
Stacked, the back rows too.
That's why it was again for me. I was always a little bit apprehensive with this signing. Do they now keep Tupanua because
you do?
With Tupanua's form or not being a part of the team, teams aren't necessarily screaming out for Tupanua like they were a year ago.
Yeah, the injuries are hitting.
Before the injury.
He just needs to play consistent football and get back to where he was.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a genuine middle now. I think he's coming on. He can play anywhere in the back row, both sides, and he can play in the middle.
Do you think he's got the engine for the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does.
All right.
He does. He can bang out
at
least.
Get those legs back.
Yeah, he does.
After the injury,
he hits good. He's got. Yeah, he could be a really good middle. So if anyone who's sort of would be chasing him, they know where he's going to play. Play lock easy.
Maybe I think it was Fletch yesterday. We did the run home with Fletch. Like, was it him I was talking to? Or maybe actually while we're playing golf. This could be like a legitimate last dance opportunity for this Roosters team. Like you think about the players that are moving on.
They're trying to play that down, but 100% it is.
It'd have to be, right?
And that's what I'm saying. Another factor is Crichton want to go for a rebuild. Now that you're lost for Fifita, you already showed your cards. You don't want me.
Yeah.
These are the conversations. Like when you're talking to your club players, when you're talking to your teammates, make sure you stay. Yeah. You go talk to people that are diplomatic and are about you instead of the club. Then you'll start thinking different. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he's a free thinker as well.
Yeah.
So he's going to make the best decision for Angus Crichton.
If he does stay, we mentioned the three that are a big part of his success there. Kez, I think Toops re-signed too for a year, extended by a year by the way. Jared is moving on, and Joey Manu specifically. Still got Teddy, obviously. Connor Watson's his guy.
Yeah.
So Connor's still there and playing great footy. They'll look to re-up Connor soon, I reckon.
Yeah, they should.
For sure. He's on fire. Rads is still there.
He's still got the cool guys.
There's still enough there, isn't there?
Just depends. And he'll be talking about these conversations like, when are you off, Rads? Next year? Yeah. When are you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be stuck there and then a whole rebuild happens in 2 years. If he signs a 3-year deal, and then what happens after next year, there'll be about 5 people off contract. They could be that's his major crew. They all could be gone.
What if the Roosters just go... Because we talk about the reverse cherry, right? Yeah. Give the example. So for people that aren't aware, and there's more details that come into this, but basically at the time, Manly... It worked out well for them because they ended up keeping Ches. But before Ches had moved on, they put all their baskets into Foz. So Foz still ended up going to Para. Then he ended up getting re-upped at Manly. Fucking grouse still. Still doesn't shout a coffee. Still doesn't shout a feed. But got the mad deal, Ches. Worked out well. He's been a legend of the club, fucking most tenured player. But there was a time where Manly weren't interested in him, right?
No.
So he was going to go to the Gold Coast, and then that all changed. But he got the right number eventually. And that's fucking business. That's how it all works. What do you reckon they have to come back now to Angus if they do indeed want to keep him? Does he we're going to give Fifita 850? Does he have to get 9?
Fifita's money.
Does he have to get 900 even?
You
to
want
say,
Fifita's money.
Yeah.
Exactly
But
what
no,
he's got.
does he
Or maybe even more. Yeah.
because of the disrespect?
Yeah.
Is my
100%.
Yeah.
He just needs to keep playing now. If he gets back to the form that he was in 2 years ago, which I think he is right now,
he's playing.
He's
so
the best.
Good.
He's one of he's top 3 back row in the game.
Playing so good.
So like, he needs. Don't worry about what happened last year. He had obviously a shit preseason and everything like that. So just measure on what he's doing right now.
All right, more contract news. This one is in the coaching. We've got 2 coming up with the coaches. We've got Wayne Bennet and Ricky Stuart. But Bennet denies South signing, claims he hasn't committed yet. Now, the South Sydney Rabbitohs have reportedly got their man after agreeing to a 3-year deal to bring Wayne Bennet back to Redfern. However, the legendary coach has denied the suggestions. As it stands, I haven't agreed to terms. I haven't signed anything, Bennet said. I've met with South. We have had preliminary talks, and we agreed to come back next Monday after Magic Round. There's been no handshakes, which I'd imagine would be really important to him. I haven't signed any paperwork.
The agreed to terms is the most important.
Yeah.
Because if he agreed to terms, he'd be there.
He strikes me as the sort of guy, the handshake part.
Yeah.
There has been no handshakes.
So he hasn't signed. So don't get your hopes up if you're a South fan.
Yeah, and he also said right at the end, there's still things to be discussed.
Yes, there has. And he's just looking at South now and seeing what sort of position they're in, the efforts that they're putting in. He just wants to see something, right?
Yep. Can I throw a few questions at you? Do you think the roster as it stands, it's very similar to when he left, but taking Mark Nichols and now Jack Whiten being there at the club, does he look at that roster and go, that needs a bit of tweaking still? For me, the things that need to be discussed, I guess, because the nitty-gritty of it is figuring out the cap, I think, and how much allocated
Do they have cap space? Because they re-upped all of them. Cam Murray, Cody, Cookie, Trell.
Cam. Did you say Cam Murray, sorry, at the start? Yeah.
All of them, man. They're on pushing a mil or mil plus.
Even Tavita Totola got a re-upped. Keon Kolomatangi got re-upped a couple last year.
Big contracts that you can't get around. Like who do you bring in? Because the back 5 that they got is nowhere near what they were a couple of years ago. I'm not sure who they're missing or what sort of style of playing. I don't know. It just doesn't look as aggressive as it was.
Yeah.
They need a centre. They need a front rower. Need a few things. Need a halfback.
Yeah. So Tommy Burgess will be leaving. He's off to Huddersfield next year. So there's their big body.
He's the only guy who goes forward in that forward pack sometimes.
Yep.
And he's 33.
I was surprised to see, congratulations to Mark Nichols. He's just re-signed. I thought if Wayne was going to decide to go, there have been a couple of players that have re-signed at the Dolphins in the last probably 6 weeks. Isaiah Katoa, obviously extending is huge for him. And Mark Nichols has been that good plug-and-play guy. He can come off the bench, start, wherever. Very versatile. But on the Rabbitohs, I think it might be around the salary cap and the roster.
Does Wayne want to come back to it's going to be not rebuilding stages, but because you've got those guys to build around, can he recruit those guys?
It's the same roster. It's the same roster that he had 3 years ago, but they're all 3 years older.
Fuck. It's caught up, isn't it?
And it's not apart from probably Cody Walker. How old is
Cody's 32. Maybe 33.
Maybe 33, yeah. So
because he debuted in 20 when he was
crazy
26.
old. Like Cherry's 35, fucking Sean.
He debuted when he was 26, Cody.
Yeah.
But he still played 200 games. He's played a lot of football.
I want to find out how old Cookie is. That's the one.
Cookie's 32.
Cookie is 32. Yeah. But he's turning 33.
Yeah,
Very
So
soon.
He's got one or 2 years left in him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man, if it's a good move to go to the Rabbits if you're Wayne Bennet. Unless he just loves the joint and he knows he can improve it, and he's just, he's very well embedded in the community down here as well. They love him, and he must love them back, and he must think he can turn it around and bring some players in there. And obviously you get the Wayne Bennet factor of just getting that extra 10, 20% out of average players. Yeah. That's what he does. He's the king at that.
Even the stars, like you talked about, like his relationship with you.
And he holds people accountable, and you just want to play for the man. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they look like they're missing out. They're missing at South. They look like they just got no, you know, that extra effort that you saw them a couple of years ago. They were bashing teams. The skill set was on fire.
I'm going down. This is just from the NRL website. I'm going to,
you know, like when they used to, like when they used to hold the fort in the middle, and then they just spin it left or right, wherever they're going. They just used to play beautiful football, man.
They were quite conservative coming out of yardage, and they were more patient with Wayne. And I think they're a little bit more willy-nilly, and they're trying to score on every play compared to when Wayne was there.
They built that. They built to go on a strike, and bang, that was unstoppable, that left edge.
Here we go, Mace. All right, Cam Murray, he's there until 2028. Campbell Graham is there until 2027. Jack White in 2027. Jai Arrow, 2027. Keon Kalomantangi, 2026. Latrell Mitchell, 2027. Lewis Dodd, the new signing from St Helens, the halfback, 2027. Peter Mamazoulis, 2027. He got a 4-year deal, Peter Mamazoulis, and he's been
what? Who's that?
He's the backup hooker for
Cookie.
Damien Cook. Tavita Totola, 2028.
Jeez. Well, those names just right there. That's enough.
That's enough?
That is enough. Just build around those guys.
Cody Walker, 2025.
Just build around that.
Cookie, 2025. David Mwale, 2025. So there's a couple that will have prove-it deals, prove-it years. I think it might be hard for him to re-sign Cookie and Walker at that age.
That'll be very hard. And it depends if they want to keep playing or not.
Maybe it'll just be one-and-done deals, basically, for the rest of their career, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you just name those players in. That's enough for South to go, all right, we're fucking top 8 team. Come on, man. Despite
how they're playing, you give me a core of I still got big rap on Tavita Totola, Latrell Mitchell, Keon Kalomantangi, Jai Arrow, Jack Whiten, Campbell Graham and Cam Murray. I'd be stoked with that roster and try to figure out the rest.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
And then you put in the fucking greatest coach of all time and you should be back up there. They're just in a real fucking low at the moment. Like that fucking, and I feel sorry for them, but the only people that can get them out is them. Playing group, fucking no coach, nothing can get you out of this hole apart from 17 men that get on the field every weekend and dig in and get your fucking selves out. No one else cares. Everyone's just going to be kicking them while they're down. Kick, because South's been that team for the last 5 years. Now they want to see South suffer, and they fucking love it, fans. They love it. Now the only people that can get them out is the 17 people that get on that field every fucking weekend and get themselves out. That's it. There's no coaching that can get you out. There's no fucking person. There's no magic fucking, all right, let's just go. Let's go on a run. Players have got to rip in a lot harder than what they're doing. They're the only ones that are in control of that.
This year, next year, Wayne is.
Next year, Wayne's going to get you straight out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, you lose 5 in a row, we'll get you out of it, boys.
All right, another coach who was on your Mount Rushmore due to your relationship and the stats that he's got at the moment, and he is Canberra DNA. Ricky
personified.
Stewart, he is set to ink a long-term basically done. He's staying down in Canberra. Ricky is set to resign as head coach of the Canberra. That is according to News Corp. Stuart was already signed until the end of 2025, but the new deal will keep him in the nation's capital until the end of 2029.
Nice.
Just an obvious signing.
It is, man.
I guess talk about the layers of one, when you think about the Raiders, Ricky, there's some great Raiders during that run, but just because of his playing career into coaching career, Ricky is the DNA of Canberra Raiders. And also how Ricky's been able to keep them relevant, but also his retention of the young players plus recruiting.
Development.
His recruitment of some and development of some players over the years has been as good as it gets, because no one wants to sign at Canberra. Respectfully to Canberra, like
that's why he keeps getting the pommies from the north of England. It's not that far. It's not that much difference in weather.
Yeah, and like getting guys like Joseph Tarpany from Newcastle was a great signing. Jordan Rapiner from Gold Coast,
Huddy Young,
Huddy Young from Newcastle, Central Coast. Yeah. Great job. So he brings players who are Canberra players and or has Canberra traits, Canberra-rated traits, and turns them into well and truly Canberra-rated players.
It is. He deserves that. As I said, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I said there's not even a question who they're going to sign, because how hard is it? We always talk about how hard is it to come across great coaches. Yep. And he's a great coach. You know, like you just got to buy into what Ricky Stewart's about. You fucking work hard. You die for that jersey, mate, and just cop criticism. It's fucking in your face. He's very intense. Like you've had him before, but like if you buy into it, and he'll get the best out of most players.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you butt heads, if you don't see the same way Ricky sees, leave Canberra.
But you know what? Yeah, you're right. He has played, so not good cop, bad cop, but he's been the angry father figure to a couple of these players, and it's brought out the best of them. I keep going back to it, mate. Like that stint Xavier Savage had in New South Wales Cup last year has turned him into a better NRL first grader this year than he was first.
Let's not forget he dropped Big Papa to reserve grade, and he dropped Joseph Tarpanator to reserve grade. Talking 3 or 4 years ago, and those blokes come out and had career best form for the next 4 years. Joey Tarpanator, top four, top 5 prop in the game.
Captain of the club.
Big Papa, captain of the club. So he knows.
Co-captain, sorry.
Yeah, he knows which buttons to push.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I saw he's on my Mount Rushmore coach because he knows what buttons to push with me.
He's almost the best at tough love. Where
fucking oath.
You told me about, for instance, with Wayne, he'd give you like a bit of a heads up before potentially dropping you, so you could rectify it on the game. Seems like sometimes Ricky goes, "No, you've been fucking around too much.
Mate.
Go down to New South Wales Cup,
straight to your face too."
Yeah, and then once they sort it out, you get back in. You're like, all right. Fuck, I'll never do that again.
So that's the difference to guys like Wayne Bennett, right? He's, I think there was we had a young half coming through in 2010, and I was just sort of running, it was fourth tackle, right? And I was just running at lead, and Bedsy hit me. And then the half out the back is whinging his ass off. And I sort of made a half break, and I had the ball there, and I just ripped holes in him, saying, you got to fucking support instead of like, obviously not, these are nicer words.
Yep.
You got to push every play, mate. Don't worry about, because don't throw your fucking arms up because it's like, the end of the world because I didn't get it on the fourth play. I didn't want the fucking ball.
Yeah.
I just caught it and ran it because Bedsy hit me.
It was open.
And you weren't talking out the back.
Yeah.
Anyway, he must have had a whinge to Wayne.
Yeah.
So Wayne goes, he's a young kid. He's only fucking 19, 20. You ripped the shit out of him. He's a little bit like, he's not going to say anything. I said, well, fuck him. He should. He's a halfback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I just deal with shit. And he goes, I'm going to have a crack at you in the video.
Yeah.
He goes, I know you're big and bad enough to fucking cop it.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit. I'm not having a crack at you. I'm just trying to give him confidence.
Okay.
That's the fucking difference between that. So he goes, the fuck you doing here, Willie? Fucking get out of the fucking way. I said, yeah, I'm fucking always in the way. Don't worry about it. Just sort of sitting up the back going, fuck you. Yeah. And then then the little kid who's a halfback, I walked out and said, oi, see that?
Yeah.
I said, you fucking open your mouth. I said, you tell me to get out of the way, you get out of the way. Don't run to the fucking coach again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I said, I can cut you. You talk like this like men.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I said, good, all good. Bang. Went like that, his career.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? I said, but that's the difference between Wayne knowing he can put me on blast and not be like personal. And he goes, well, get the fuck out of the way. I'm like, yeah, man, I was just, I don't know what I was doing. Betsy's fault. He passed it to me. That's Betsy's fault. So I sort of take the piss out.
Yeah.
Betsy's fucking. So we sort of had a laugh, and then, but that's the way that's the way he deals with things, because he knows the young kid can't cop that shit.
Yeah.
And he knew it was the kid should have pushed up.
Yep.
Whatever, it would have been a good play, but fuck, it is what it is. I'm like, yeah, don't worry.
I love those stories. There's relationships in those little nuances that go with coaching.
Yeah, and I'm sitting up the back going, yeah, sorry, bro.
You're always up the back,
mate.
Yeah. Shout out to Ricky. Congrats to Ricky. Great signing, I think. He hasn't.
Sorry, I wonder if he's still as intense.
Right?
Because I know the Ricky Stewart's from the 05, 06, Australia, New South Wales and shit, where you're playing with, you're coaching the best, right? Yeah. I haven't had him at a club level.
I'll every now, because I watch all the presses, even though we don't do the post-match depressor like
you can do it by yourself.
I watch it all the time. I'll send you when he says some crazy shit sometimes, and then you see like Tarpany and Elliot Whitehead just like have a little smirk to himself. So,
and he's the best player. I mean, Ricky's in him, Belly, Wayne. They're the best.
Yeah. I said I want to mention this at the start of the show. Just got a couple of points on this, and we'll finish up the show. The NRL has issued an indefinite ban notice to 2 fans following alleged racial abuse of star Rabbitohs.
Yuck.
The NRL have announced that they've issued indefinite ban notices to 2 spectators who racially abused Latrell Mitchell and Cody Walker during the game Rabbitohs vs Dragons at Nostrada Jubilee. The NRL was made aware of the allegations by an email from a member of the public in attendance who reported the abuse come from fans sitting behind them.
So it wasn't reported from
no, the players, not necessarily.
So they were sitting in the crowd and they just hear someone just racially abused like Cody and Latrell.
Yeah.
God, you piece of shit.
Yeah. So I want to applaud the people.
Yes.
Look, because the players, and I'm not sure if the players heard or not. We don't know those details, but if you've got to call this sort of stuff out, and I've never been a big guy of sort of telling on people when it comes to specifically this sort of shit.
Yeah, it needs to be called
I think
out.
it's really important. I think it's important to address it. I'm glad the NRL has taken this stance, and I'm big on this, mate. Like, yeah, I've seen some some of the punishments for these spectators or
Nothing.
That hasn't been up to standard. Make an example of them.
Never allowed to fucking go to a game again.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You want to racially abuse players? Good on the blokes who fucking put them in too.
Called them out.
Called them out. No, it doesn't belong in society. It's always going to be in society. I get it. But fucking, if you get caught, deal with the consequences.
100%.
Fucking piece of shit.
All right, we'll see you up at Magic Round. If you see me and Mace in and around Caxton Street, around Suncorp, come and say g'day. We've got the cameras rolling.
Yeah.
We want to do some street talk
Have
stuff
some
with
good
the tab,
times.
so we'll see you up there.
Some good times coming up.
Let's go.